Hello there, I'm Frankie.
And I'm Cheyenne.
And we are
Conbini Cult. Welcome.
Welcome to our podcast.
Yes.
Today we have a very interesting episode about urban legends, creepypastas.
Mm-hmm. So we're on theme today of, I guess...
Looking creepy.
Halloween.
We've got the chandelier.
Yes, we really set up the vibe lamps. Here. Our little pumpkins. Yeah. So if you're just listening, maybe tune in to YouTube this week just so you can see how ridiculous we look. And you can see my Attack on Titan survey core, my Chosa Heidan cape, because I think it's really cool.
So cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to do a few creepy episodes for the month of October. So, yeah, I think, I don't have any life updates.
No. Me neither. I just bought this at Universal Studios Japan recently, last year. So that's all. That's all I have. Nothing crazy.
Good. Yeah. For the word of the day, I thought a good one would be toshi densetsu, urban legend.
Oh, I didn't know that was the word for it, or the kanji at least. It's very I mean, it makes sense, urban, but it's like a very straightforward kanji.
City.
Legend.
Traditional tale. Toshi densetsu.
Yeah. Okay.
Before we begin, we might get some unique listeners on this episode who enjoy scary stories. Our podcast is about life in Japan as foreigners in general, but we are doing some spooky stories for the theme of Halloween. So I hope you enjoy this one. I have compiled 6 stories for today's episode, and they're more in the realm of creepypasta, urban legends that originated from the internet. Most people know urban legends like Hanako-san. You know that one? The girl who haunts the school toilets?
No. Is she like a moaning myrtle of Japan?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, no. I don't like scary stuff in general, so I'm not like seeking out like creepypasta or scary stories. So a lot of these might just be new for me in general. So yeah, I didn't know about Hanako-san at all. And now I'm scared.
Well, we're not going to talk about her.
Okay, good.
But for these stories, since they are internet urban legends, if you just ask a random person on the street or whatever about it, they're going to have no idea what you're talking about. These are not really common knowledge unless you're super into this kind of stuff.
I see.
So a lot of these stories came from an anonymous forum called 2chan, Ni-chan.
Is that different than 4chan?
I think it was before 4chan.
Before 4chan, there was 2chan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I see.
Yeah, just an anonymous forum. So yeah.
I see. Okay.
That's where these came from. So we're reading translations of these stories that originated on the internet.
Okay.
So since we have 6, I can read 3 and you can read 3.
Okay. Sounds good.
So
I'll do my best.
Would you allow me to read the first one?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Get started.
And take a breath. Number 1, Kisaragi Station. In 2004, a 2chan user named Hasumi posted on a forum asking for help because she got on the wrong train at Shin Hamamatsu Station in Shizuoka Prefecture. This was strange because she usually caught the same train after work, and trains leaving Shin Hamamatsu only go in one direction. She started getting worried because she remembered the stops only being a few minutes between each station, but on this train, they were much longer, and they went through a tunnel when her usual line didn't have any tunnels. There were 5 other people on the train, but they were asleep. She walked to the front car to ask the conductor for help, but the curtain was closed and no one answered when she knocked. The train finally made a stop at Kisaragi Station. She got off the train and considered getting back on, but the doors closed. Hasumi continued to post on the forum for peace of mind. She informed the other users that she exited the train, and they said that a Kisaragi Station doesn't exist in Japan. She decided to exit the station and walk back along the tracks, even through the dark tunnel. She could hear the sound of drums and bells in the distance and grew more and more afraid. She heard someone shout, "Being on the tracks is dangerous." Hesitant, she looked behind her, only to find an old man with one leg a short distance away, who quickly disappeared. There was nothing else to do but keep walking. When she finally exited the tunnel, she saw another man who offered to drive her to the nearest station. She soon posted again on the forum to say that the man was muttering to himself and she was going to run the first chance she got. Then her phone lost battery and she never posted again. One thing we know for sure is that Kisaragi Station doesn't exist. At least not in this realm.
Ooh. I was going to make a joke where it's like, yeah, she got to the tunnel and then she saw a man. And I was like, yeah, scary. I was like, oh no. That's scary enough for me.
Yeah. It is.
Was this a new one for you? Or have you heard about this kind of like?
No. So the stories that we're reading today, I have made TikTok videos about before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm
kind of
pretty familiar with these.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to let the audience know if they were like new or not for Frankie. They're all new to me.
Yeah. I like that story. Kisaragi Station is one of my favorites. It's really creepy.
It's good. It's a good creepy one. Very mild for me. I can handle that.
Like you accidentally take the train to another dimension or something. Or to like the underworld or something.
Underworld, yeah.
Yeah. Because apparently some of, like you usually see Kisaragi written in hiragana, but apparently the kanji for it is like the devil
really
or like demons or something.
Oh. So Kisaragi does... no, it does not exist.
The station doesn't exist.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Okay.
All right.
The next story is The Red Room. Red Room. Okay. Hana was talking to a friend at school one day who told her of the rumors going around about a mysterious website called The Red Room, accessible through a pop-up ad that was causing people to take their lives. At the neighboring town school, 4 students had already fallen victim to it. Hana didn't think much of it. It was probably just a scary story. But then her friend didn't show up at school the next day. Becoming more curious of this website, if this website actually existed, Hana searched for it herself that night. She didn't really find anything at first. Then when she was about to close her computer and get ready for bed, something popped up on her screen. It was a small red window with an incomplete sentence. Do you like? What? She clicked close. Then it popped up again, and this time it talked in a childlike voice. あなたは好きですか? Every time she closed it, it popped up again. Then the sentence seemed to expand, revealing the full phrase. あなたは赤い部屋が好きですか? Do you like the red room? Then on the screen, a list of names appeared. She didn't recognize any until the very last one. It was her friend's name. She felt a cool breath on the back of her neck, and the door shut. Hana and her friend's bodies were discovered soon after. The walls were red, painted with their own blood. The end. Scary.
Yeah. So when this story came about, people were really afraid of pop-up ads.
Oh, yeah.
So these days we have, ad blockers.
Yeah.
It's not that much of a problem.
Yeah. When did this story come out? It seems very
I think it was early 2000s.
Yeah, like early 2000s.
Yeah,
I do like
the other story.
Yeah,
it was like mid 2000s. I think.
Like this one. No,
so
it's pretty scary.
This is the creepy pop-up ad that you can't close.
Mm-hmm. This is also very like, what is it, like backrooms
lore
kind of? Yeah. I do not like, but I have heard a lot about like the backrooms kind of lore. So. Or, densetsu,
Toshi densetsu.
Toshi densetsu. Another word of the day should be kowai.
Kowai.
Scary.
Yeah. I'm scared.
Yes.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay. The next story is Hasshaku-sama, the 8-foot tall woman. So this story originally came from 2chan as well. So we're just reading a translation of it.
I may have heard of this one actually. Maybe that sounds familiar. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
But before we read, there's always some confusion about how to pronounce it. Like a lot of people say Hasshaku, but that's not correct. I've asked many Japanese people how you would say it. It's Hasshaku. The same way that you wouldn't say like Hachihyaku, you would say Happyaku. So Hasshaku.
Okay.
But I'm sure the 11-year-olds are going to argue with us about it.
In the comments.
Hasshaku.
Okay.
Hasshaku-sama. A young boy was visiting his grandparents in the countryside. He was playing alone outside, close to the house, when he started to hear a faint po, po, po sound. Then he saw a sun hat peeking over the hedges. It was a bit odd because the shrubs were really high, so for someone to be taller than them, they'd have to be huge. And that's when she became visible through the gaps in the hedges. She had long black hair, a sundress, and a sun hat. But her height, she had to be nearly 8 feet tall. She locked eyes with him and smiled, before slowly disappearing with another pull, pull, pull. When the boy went back inside, he told his grandparents what he saw. They didn't think much of it until he told them the sound she made. Pull, pull, pull. They both froze. They knew exactly who it was, but there hadn't been any sightings of her for the last 15 years. Many years ago, an extremely tall woman was taking children from the village. As soon as she set her sights on them, they went missing within a few days. The people of the town tried to trap her inside the local shrine by placing Jizo statues facing all directions, but somehow she must have escaped. That night, they placed bowls of salt in each corner of the boy's room and did their best to cover the windows. They gave him a talisman to hold on to, placed a Buddha in the middle of the room so he could pray if he needed to, and they told him to keep the door locked until morning, no matter what he saw or heard. Naturally, he was terrified and confused, but he promised to do as he was told. He was asleep for a bit, then around 1 a.m., a knock on his door woke him. It sounded like his grandfather's voice. "Are you okay? I know you must be scared and lonely. Why don't you let me in and I'll keep you company?" He almost opened the door, but as he was about to touch the handle, he heard it again. Pull, pull, pull. He noticed the salt in the bowls had turned black. He retreated back to the center of the room and cried the rest of the night, trying his best to ignore her knocking and calling. Finally, at 7 a.m., he was allowed to leave the room. His parents came back for him, along with other family members. They left in 3 cars, hiding the boy in the back seat of one car, covered in blankets, to confuse the tall woman. They gave him another talisman to hold and ordered him to keep his eyes shut because he was the only one who could see her, even though they could all hear her knocking. Pull, pull, pull. When they finally reached the next town, the talisman the boy was holding had also turned black. He was safe, but could never return to that town. Even as his grandparents grew older and unable to travel, he still couldn't return, even for his grandfather's funeral. Several years later, he received a phone call from his grandmother. "I've been very sick recently. I would love to see you one last time. Could you please come back for a visit?" Then he heard it again. Pull, pull, pull.
Yeah, that's one that would keep me up at night.
Yeah.
I don't like that one. I did not like that one.
Yeah. When I made a TikTok video about this one, because I have like sundresses and a sun hat, so I kind of like acted it out.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was, during the pandemic, my low budget like solo films.
I want to watch that now. Are they still up?
Probably.
I'm gonna look for it.
Hazakashi. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like. Do you know? Because you're into like horror and scary stories.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why so many of the themes are like about women and like taking children? Hair. Yeah, and like who either take children or usually the ghost or like the spirit involved is like like a woman who's like really like lanky or like long black hair and things like that. No, is there like a reason for that, or is it just a coincidence that like most, or like especially in Japan, like that's like they really love the like woman with long black hair.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the hair, but I guess, black hair is a given, but like the long hair in your face, I guess just because it could look creepy, maybe. But I think because a lot of these urban legends and stuff are like cautionary tales to make children behave. Yeah. So I think that's why they often take kids.
I see. They often take kids, and it's usually by like a mom or something. Because like that's a common theme here I always see is like usually a mom. Yeah. So does she have lore? This Hasshaku sama, like she lost a child and like now she wants to take a child kind of thing.
I'm not sure about that.
Because that's like similar to have you ever seen The Woman in Black with Daniel Radcliffe? It's like an older.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So kind of similar to that. It was like a woman who she would only take like kids around the town and didn't focus on the adults and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, I don't like.
I'm not sure about the origins of Hasshaku-sama. I feel like I knew at one time, but I forgot.
Well, I'm not going to search it because that's going to like keep me awake at night. But if you know, let me know.
Alrighty.
Okay, moving on. So this one is called Manto. And is this manto as in a cape? Well, that's a nice coincidence because I have
You're wearing a
midori manto, a green
manto.
cape on. So the title of this in English is Red Cape?
Yep.
Yes.
The red cape.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay.
Aka manto. It's late at night and you're on your way home. You really need to use the restroom, but all the shops are closed and there's only a creepy public toilet available. You can't hold it until you get home, so you go in. After you enter the last stall and finish up, you realize there's no toilet paper in sight. That's when someone knocks on the door. They ask if you'd like red paper or blue paper. Are either of those good choices? Not really. If you choose red, he'll barge into the stall and slice you up until your clothes are soaked in red, or until your skin hangs off your back like a cloak. If you choose blue, he'll squeeze your neck until your face turns blue. If you say any other color, he'll bust the door down and drag you away, or in some versions of the tale, the floor will crack open and a pair of hands will drag you down. If for some reason you choose yellow, he'll shove your face in the toilet, and that's a pretty embarrassing way to go. The best bet is to say you don't need toilet paper, or to just ignore him entirely. He should walk away after some time. My advice to you, bring your own tissues just in case, or you might end up getting a visit from Akamanto. Okay, that was like a silly one. It started off really scary, and then I was like, oh, okay, so you get to get sliced up, suffocated, or have your face just shoved into your own piss. Also, I was gonna make an Andrew Tate joke in there, like, you want red toilet paper or blue toilet paper? You want red pill or blue pill? And all the alpha males gonna be like, give me that red toilet paper. I'm not no beta or sigma or whatever. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting one. Is that was that made up just as like a cautionary tale for, again, kids to be like, bring your own toilet paper, like, be safe in the bathroom?
This one is just so silly.
Akamanto, that's a scary nickname. You can, your skin will hang off like a red cape. That's very graphic. But yeah, all right.
Yeah, but he's just a toilet demon.
Yeah, lesson learned. I'm gonna bring my own toilet paper, or say I don't need any. Yeah, it's a good tip.
I mean, that would be pretty terrifying if you're just, in a really quiet public restroom, and all of a sudden. Yeah,
I don't like that. That part was.
Would really you like creepy. Red paper or blue paper?
Choose your path. Ah. Yeah. Okay. Ooh.
All right. Next one. Yeah. So this one is called Kune Kune, and that is the onomatopoeia for wiggling, twisting,
like a snake, or
or I imagine those outside of car dealerships.
Oh, those little blow up guys, the blow up dolls that are
So when I hear Kune Kune, I think of those.
Okay, yeah, that's a better example. I see. Okay.
All right. One summer, two brothers went to visit their grandparents in the countryside. They were playing outside in the rice fields when they noticed a white figure in the distance, wiggling in the wind. But when the wind stopped, the figure kept on wriggling. Curious what it was, the older brother went back to the house for binoculars to get a closer look. When he finally saw it, his expression changed suddenly. His face turned blue, and he broke out in a cold sweat. The younger brother asked what he saw, and he said, "It's better not to know." But it wasn't his voice. Curious, the younger boy picked up the binoculars and was going to look as well. Before he could focus, his grandfather slapped the binoculars out of his hand and said he shouldn't look. He brought both boys inside. As the day went on, the older brother began laughing uncontrollably, moving and twisting his body in unnatural ways, wriggling just like the figure in the rice fields. Everyone was crying. The following morning, the parents set out to leave with the younger brother. The grandmother decided that the older boy should stay with them for a few years, then they would release him into the rice fields. As they drove away, the younger boy picked up his binoculars to catch one last glimpse of his brother. Though he was laughing and wriggling, it was almost as if he was crying too. It was the saddest smile the boy had ever seen. As the car drove off, his mind was filled with thoughts of his older brother, but he still had the binoculars over his eyes. It was then that he saw it in the fields. The thing you should never see. Dun, dun, dun.
I don't like it.
So, a little background. This is another legend that came from 2chan in the early 2000s. It was posted with the title Wakaranai Hogai. It's better not to know. Since the original post, several other versions have come about. Kune Kune is usually a swaying white figure in the rice fields that almost looks like a scarecrow, but sometimes the figure is black and sometimes it's spotted in the sea or in the city. True to the name, which means swaying or wriggling, it always does just that. Though the temptation to take a closer look will consume you, you shouldn't.
Okay, I won't.
Don't walk up to it, and don't look at it through binoculars or a camera.
Okay.
Because it will, quite literally, drive you mad.
Oh. I don't like that. That's scary. That was a good scary one.
So in the summer, the rice fields are really beautiful.
Yeah.
Very green, very lush, swaying in the wind. So when I see scarecrows out there, I'm like,
oh, really? Yeah.
Wakaranai hogai.
Yeah. Do Japanese people use scarecrows like traditional, like
I see a lot of homemade ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're like scarier here, huh? Like the way they're like posted up. They look scary to me. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
So I usually take an evening walk, and near my house there's some rice fields.
Okay.
So I didn't know that they put scarecrows up in the rice field. So I was taking a walk at night.
Yeah.
And then I see 6 scarecrows, and the last one is kind of twisted.
Kune Kune. Yeah. That's scary. Yeah. That reminds me of like. Have you ever seen Jeepers Creepers?
Yes.
Yeah, like those vibes. No. Yeah. I'm gonna just wakaranai hogai that one.
Yeah. Don't get closer.
Okay. Is this the last one?
Yep.
Okay. Before I start to fix my midori manto. This one is called Sukima Onna, the girl in the gap. A young woman lived alone. One day in her apartment, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching her. She looked around the room and of course didn't see anyone. She went to the window to double check. It was locked. It was locked and the curtains were closed, but she took a look outside on the balcony just in case. Still, no one was there. She thought maybe she was just tired from work and her mind was playing tricks on her, so she showered and went to sleep. The next night, the feeling was still there, but there was no one around. How could someone be watching her if no one was there? Was there some kind of hidden camera or listening device somewhere? She checked her room thoroughly again, looking for some indication of a camera, but again she found nothing. She went back over to the dresser by the window, and that's when she noticed something strange. In the tiny gap between the dresser and the wall, a woman with a pair of deep, black eyes was staring at her. She was so scared she thought she would be sick. She quickly grabbed a towel and tried to cover the open area. But then she had a better idea. Tape. She grabbed a roll of tape and tried to cover every gap she could find. The door, the window, the dresser, and the floor. The floor had cracks too. It was impossible though. If she sealed every gap, she wouldn't be able to leave the room. There was also the massive space under her bed. She didn't have enough things to store under the bed and seal the gap too. She grew angry at the situation, but she also felt helpless. The sun began to rise and she was still sitting in the middle of the room without having slept at all. Her eyes were dry and red and she couldn't sleep knowing what was in the room with her. After a few days of her not showing up to work, a coworker stopped by her house to check in on her. The door was unlocked and the coworker found her sitting on the bed staring at the wall. Her hair was disheveled, eyes red. She looked like she hadn't slept or showered or even eaten in days. What happened? Are you okay? We've all been worried about you. Have you even left this room? I haven't left the apartment at all. Why? You need to get some fresh air. Let me at least open a window. No, don't touch that. I can't leave. She'll be lonely. Who? She pointed. The coworker bolted out of the apartment and called the young woman's family. By the time the family arrived, the young woman was nowhere to be found. Okay, so guess who's gonna buy some tape on their way home?
Don't look in the gaps.
That was scary. I don't like that. Like,
do you think that was the scariest one that we read?
Yes, for me, yeah, because that's like, again, I mentioned in a previous episode, I'm like low-key scared of the dark and like sleeping like, you know, alone and stuff. And if you listen to our previous episode, like I used to live in a place where I had a friend say like they could sense someone in there, and I could also sense someone like watching over me. So just like things like this, like when it's dark, or if you just like look in dark spaces or, you know, cracks and stuff, and like the fact that someone was like staring up at her is like, that's my biggest nightmare, to be honest. So I'm scared. I'm not gonna sleep well tonight, especially like,
at least we're recording during the day.
Yeah, we are recording, and I don't have to like
you might forget about it.
Be home. I hope so, but I think my boyfriend has like an overnight shift coming up soon, which means I'm like gonna be home.
Sorry.
So if you ever get a call from me at night, I'm like, Frankie, I can't sleep. Yeah, but I don't know. Like, what was the creepiest one to you out of the ones we read so far?
Maybe. Yeah, I think the girl in the gap.
Yeah. Was it in Japanese? Sukima Onna?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if did your partner know about this one like before?
No, I don't think he knows any of these.
No. I wonder if mine does, because he likes kind of like horror and stuff, but I don't want to like ask him about it because he also knows that I'm like scared of this stuff. So like if he's ever away, like if he's ever away, he'll like call and be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep. Watch out of the Sukima Onna," you know. So yeah, I'm not even gonna mention this actually. It was scary though. So I guess she was taken by her in the end, was kind of the ending of that story. Yeah,
I think so.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
These are all like Japan creepypastas, of course, right?
Yeah.
The only one, like, it's not Japanese. So it's, again, I'm unfamiliar, so sorry if I'm going to sound like a loser, but like Slender Man is like a creepypasta.
Yes.
And that's like a US one, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like one I'm very, very familiar with. So
yeah, so these are like Japanese
versions
of that.
Do you know if any like incidences came about from these creepypastas? Like, you know how there was the incident of the 2 girls in the US that killed their best friend?
Because they thought Slender Man was coming or
something like that, or they kind of just not even had visions. I'm not too sure of the details anymore. It was a while ago, but basically they were convinced that like they had to do this for Slender Man, you know, and so they unalived their friend. So I wonder if there's anything similar to that like kind of instance in Japan.
Yeah, I'm not sure about these particular stories, but I'm sure there's probably something related to like a horror story.
I see. Good job. Thank you for like pulling all of those together. I'm not gonna go look for them in the details of them because I'm scared, but that was awesome.
So there is a YouTube channel that I really like that animates a lot of scary stories. Okay. Sometimes Japanese scary stories, but just ones from all over the world. It's called Nightmare Tales. Okay. So I'll link that.
Very cool.
In the description and the show notes, and then I'll link a couple references below as well. And I think I've really been debating starting a podcast, like a solo podcast for scary stories.
Do it.
I don't know if there's enough Japanese horror stories to do an entire podcast on, like long term, but I want to mix in stuff around the world.
Yeah, I would say like not only Japanese stuff, or, you know, in our case, not only American stuff. I'm sure there's like a lot of like different scaries from, and like especially urban legends and stuff from many different cultures. So that would be really interesting to do.
Yeah, or just some, write like, my
submissions.
Own.
Yeah. Ooh, there you go. That'd be good too. I'll support you.
Yeah.
From a distance.
So if you're interested in that, let me know. And then also just about our podcast, Conbini Cult in general. If you ever have any stories you want to share with us, specifically scary stories right now, we would love for you to either like message one of us directly or send us an email.
Yes.
conbinicultpod@gmail.com.
One more time. conbinicultpod@gmail.com. Yeah. That was a good one. Okay. Before we end, I have to ask, because I'm always curious, why? Because I like Tim Burton level of scary, you know, like Corpse Bride, like creepy, like Coraline. I like creepy. I can deal with like, I think I like the mystery and suspense of it, but I don't like being scared. So like, so I'll do like a creepy, like maybe Coraline feel, you know, there's like a backstory kind of like to the villain, if that makes sense. But I don't like just being scared like The Ring or Insidious or The Conjuring, like especially things with ghosts really freak me out. Cause like I said, I'm very like superstitious about stuff like that. Yeah. So like what? Clearing that up.
Yeah.
Why do you like horror stuff? Like, how are you okay? Like, not scared, I guess? Because I'm just jealous of people who like can watch it and not be scared.
Well, it's kind of thrilling to be scared. Yeah. But if I do consume a lot of these stories and watch a lot of these animated versions of the stories, I do get a little bit like creeped out at night. Like I always check under my bed before I go to sleep, regardless. But like checking in the closet and stuff like that too. I'm a little bit more on edge, I guess, after these. But it's fun.
Is it fun? Okay.
Yeah. I really like haunted attractions. Like that's something I miss in Japan actually. Like they have some haunted houses during Obon in August because that's like the spooky time in Japan. But yeah, I love Halloween. So I miss going to like haunted hay rides and haunted houses.
Yeah, I think I love Halloween too. And my birthday is the day before Halloween. So like I love everything about like October and fall and Halloween. But I think we like different versions of Halloween. Yeah, I like
you like the cute Halloween.
The cute Halloween, yeah. I like cute, like the dress up part of Halloween and like kind of the creepy. Like I like all the fall movies that like come out in Halloween, like Beetlejuice too, Hocus Pocus, like things like that. I love the witchy stuff. Okay. So like I'm not against it. I just more so like because I have a lot of like friends and my partner too loves like horror movies and I feel so I guess bad. I like don't want to watch horror movies like that and I just want some tips because I can't go to sleep is the only thing. Like if I could sleep, it'd be a different story, but I just can't do it. So,
yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm sorry.
You're like, I don't know, just don't be a loser.
Have you ever thought about not being scared?
Yeah. Have you ever thought about just like not being a loser? Yeah, no. I think watching them during the day is fun or something.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely don't watch right before you go to sleep.
Yeah. Have you seen a good scary movie recently?
No.
Have you seen... so for someone who like doesn't like horror movies and scary stuff, I've seen like quite enough of them to like, so it's like, I don't really know if I'm making sense, but have you seen Smile recently?
Oh, yes, I did watch that one.
You did watch it? What did you think? It was good? It was creepy?
I mean, I wouldn't call it like one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. I was entertained while I watched it, but I don't think I'll watch it again.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. I didn't like, I liked the creepiness of it, but I did not like spoilers ahead, sorry. I didn't like the ghost, the being that like caused, everyone to die like that. So like just because that figure, she was kind of like Shashaku-sama vibes.
That's true.
Yeah. Like Hasshaku, sorry. Hasshaku vibes. Yeah. Like when you said like it was like an 8-foot tall woman, I was like, that's like the first thing I immediately thought of. Yeah. So that and what did I watch? Have you seen The Barbarian?
No.
Dude.
Is it worth watching?
Yeah, to like you should just watch it just to watch. It starts off very, very creepy and it actually has what's his name? He's the actor that plays It, like the clown.
Oh, okay.
Skarsgård, one of those guys in it. It's got Justin Long and like a couple other people. So I really liked it because the outcome of it wasn't as scary as I thought. It was like I really like realistic horror. Like, okay. Like, so more true crime-y, like there's either murder involved or like things that involved real people, not so much the paranormal, like how Smile is very like paranormal.
True.
Kind of. But Barbarian is not. It like has to do with just like real life events. And so I really liked it because there were some laughable moments and my partner didn't like it because it wasn't scary enough for him. He likes the ghost stuff. So if you're like that, then maybe you won't enjoy it as much as I did. But
I mean, if the story is good, I'll like it.
It's like it's more like sickening, if anything. It's kind of like more
like Human Centipede sickening.
Not like but
because that's gross.
like product of incest sickening. You know what I mean? Like it touches on like very hard topics, I guess, in terms of like kidnapping and things like that. So yeah, just things like that. But give it a shot if you have some time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of Japanese horror films. I haven't seen any recently. I don't mess with
Japanese horror films. They're scary.
I do like the original Ring.
Oh, I've never seen the Japanese one. I saw
the story is American one. Different than the American one.
I didn't know that. Yeah. What's different about it?
Like how that girl passed away and like that kind of stuff. Like her whole origin is different.
It's different. Yeah, because in the US one, like she was just unalived by her stepmother, right? Like she just like pushed her in there, and that was kind of the origin for the most part. I remember. Yeah,
maybe it is similar.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, and like
now I'm forgetting
because there's also
there was like different stuff about it.
I see. There's like
I think that's still on Netflix, at least Japanese Netflix, the original Ring, but there's no subtitles, so
just go into it. Yeah,
listening practice,
I guess. Yeah. How about have you seen both like Japanese grudge and American grudge?
Yeah, in Japanese it's Ju-on.
Yeah. And did they follow the story pretty similarly? Or I mean, I know they had to adapt it because it like involved Americans.
I don't remember the story in the American version, but it's based on like a true story.
Oh,
should we talk about it?
That's you can talk about it. That's just like I should have known, but also I wish I like didn't know that information.
I don't think The Ring is I could be wrong. I don't think The Ring is based on true events, but Ju-on is based on a real house.
And does the house still exist?
I think it was torn down, but it like
the vibes.
There was some, paranormal resistance to that. But it has since been torn down.
What do you know? Like, what is that in Tokyo or is that in a different like?
I think near Tokyo.
Okay,
not in Tokyo, but maybe somewhere in Kanto.
Yeah, that's something like wakaranai hou ga ii. It's better if I don't know about that, probably. But yeah, like I'm sure many cultures play into this too. But like, we already talked about it. Japan really loves like a lot of their ghost stories or their horror stories evolve from like mothers and like depressed housewives and stuff.
True.
And I get it because being, being a housewife here or like in general, it's very stressful and everything. So now that I'm an adult, I understand. But you ever notice that? Like how a lot of it is very themed about like motherhood and child and everything like that.
That's true. Yeah. Even a lot of some of the urban legends were along that theme. The ones we read today. But like Akamanto is a dude.
A dude in the toilet stall.
The toilet man.
Toilet man. He's just a toilet man. Toilet man.
But
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll have some more creepy episodes coming up, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
A few more.
Yes.
And then we can get into like true crime and stuff eventually too.
That'd be interesting.
But that is a whole Pandora's box to open. Yeah. We can't do one episode on that. It would have to be a little like side series on the podcast.
For sure. And kind of going back, so I asked if they like tore down, the house that the grudge was based on.
Yes.
That reminded me of like how many vacant homes exist here in Japan. And like, I was just going to say that could be an episode we could do in the future, like about like vacant homes and people buying those homes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Not really about the paranormal aspect, but
sorry.
It's about the housing market.
Yes.
I guess that's a realistic type of scary.
That's true. On this episode of Scary Stories, the housing market, the economy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and watching.
Catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.